A former staffer for the right-wing organization Project Veritas is suing the organization and putting forward some pretty serious allegations against the group, especially its leader, James O'Keefe. So now, in a lawsuit filed on Sunday, Antoinetta Zappier claims that she was fired from Project Veritas in March of 2022 for rejecting a sexual advance of a Project Veritas field director. Now, the field director has also been named as Michael Spadone, who she claims had sexually assaulted her. So, again, this is some pretty serious stuff. Do we know it's true? No, this is a lawsuit. Would it surprise me if it was true? No. I mean, look, honestly, we've all heard some of the stories of, for example, right-wing women that are in the alt-right movement saying, oh, there's, it turns out that there's a very anti-women sentiment in the alt-right movement. And for me, it makes me think, how did you not know that? Have you ever listened to them before? Yeah, of course there's an anti-woman sentiment. Of course they would be sexist. Okay, but anyway, it's like being surprised that the leopards would eat your face, right? For, joining a group that's called the Leopards Eating Faces Party, Okay, but anyway, so now there's these allegations. Let's get through some of them, okay? Let's start out with some of the goofy stuff, because there's plenty here. Now, Zappier claims that she would be woken up in the middle of the night because Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe had lost his apartment keys. Interesting. Now, another allegation that's goofy is that she would be asked to fake O'Keefe's signature onto thousands of copies of his book after donors had paid $200 each to receive signed copies. So we've seen this before, right? So you get a right-winger that puts out a book. The book obviously is not going to sell very well. And so what donors will do, they'll just buy up giant chunks of it in order to get them on the New York Times bestseller list. And so now these people are stuck with a mountain of just these crappy books that they have to get rid of. They'll just give them away in some cases. So fascinating. $200 though for a signed book. All right. And now another incident claims that she had to buy supplies to clean up after a rather raucous boat party, where apparently people were so out of it that they had relieved themselves on the floor. Yeah. So, we're talking
dumps, big, massive dumps.
Right on the floor of a boat. Now, that was apparently, allegedly, I should say, during a particularly debauched boat party for young Republicans. She says that after buying hundreds of dollars worth of alcohol for the party, she was left frantically purchasing cleaning supplies when attendees defecated on the floor.
They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
Okay.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it.
You could just never handle it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to handle that either. I mean, again, as an administrative assistant, that's the job. Yikes. Not fun. But it actually gets worse, because not only was she cleaning up after these really, really debauched parties, right? But there's also very serious stuff. For example, one of the allegations include a staffer there having an abortion, another staffer having a near-fatal drug overdose, as well as just open pornography on office computers, and even alleged sexual recordings. Wow. In fact, Zappier's attorney, Arthur Schwartz, said, quote, "It's like Animal House." Yikes. All right, so let's get more of the details, right? About some of the more serious stuff, right? For example, the sexual allegations, right? The complaint describes a workplace rife with alcohol and drug use, sexual relationships, or what I guess what Charlie Kirk would call, what was it? I can't find that sound clip now. Sexual anarchy. Yeah. Apparently there was a lot of that was going on. But now for some reason I can't find it. So, but one man described it as a superior also engaged in daytime drinking and sexual activity in the office. Wow. One instance when a Project Veritas fundraiser impregnated a woman described in the lawsuit as a subordinate, also big issue, right? He then paid for her abortion. After O'Keefe was told about the abortion, according to Zappier, the employee remained in his position. The lawsuit also alleges that O'Keefe had personally been involved in the mistreatment of female employees and the fostering of this hostile work environment. In the court filings, Zappier claims O'Keefe required Project Veritas undercover operatives, for example, to familiarize themselves with the book, both the book and the movie versions of Red Sparrow, a story about female Russian spies using seduction to gather intelligence. So now remember, what Project Veritas does is they do undercover sting operations on liberal groups. Okay? So they do it on like Planned Parenthood, for example. And so what? They wanted, O'Keefe wanted these women who worked there to seduce people to get information. Okay, well, there's more. O'Keefe also allegedly described good-looking Project Veritas female agents as pretty young things, or PYTs, and had asked his employees to flag private social media messages from women so that he could, quote-unquote, respond to them personally. All right. The complaint also alleges that O'Keefe disparaged individual women's bodies, describing one woman as a train and nicknaming another Belle because she was shaped like the Liberty Bell. Huh. And in one of the lawsuit's more startling allegations, Zappier claims that O'Keefe had secretly recorded phone calls with his then girlfriend, another conservative media personality. O'Keefe then was alleged to have shared the recordings with other Project Veritas employees, even though the audio files featured O'Keefe and the woman discussing sexual activities. Huh. Wow. Now, on the pornography charges, or allegations, I should say, apparently porn had appeared on the Project Veritas office quite a bit, sometimes accidentally. The lawsuit claims O'Keefe once inadvertently played a pornographic video in front of roughly 75 staffers during a presentation. I mean, who hasn't done that before? I mean, you're doing a presentation and suddenly you flip to the wrong slide and then, oops, oh, you've got some porn. No, that's never happened to me before. That's ridiculous. Oh, my God. Now, also, she had claimed that she had seen pornography on O'Keefe's computer, another incident when she had entered his office to put something on his desk. Well, apparently you should not have been going into his office then. Now, porn at Project Veritas was also apparently a point of dispute between the parties, even before the lawsuit was filed. In a main email to Project Veritas lawyer later released by the group, Schwartz, Zappier's attorney, wrote that he has witnesses to James O'Keefe watching porn in his office with the door open. Great. Great, of course. Now, look, there's no indication that he was doing anything else while this was happening, but still, you could at least have the decency to close and lock the door. Again, you shouldn't be doing this at work, but leaving the door open, Come on. No, you know what? Never mind. Don't come. Don't come at all. Okay, we're not interested in this.
Sexual anarchy.
No.
Tallywhacker.
No. Okay. Look, again, these are all very gross and serious allegations here. Yikes. Okay. But, you know, there's more. The Daily Beast sent Project Veritas a list of these allegations. Instead of addressing them individually, the group replied with a mass email sent to Project Veritas supporters that claimed Zappier was fired for unprofessional and inappropriate behavior in the workplace, citing a year-old voicemail recording in which she had spoke dismissively to an aspiring tipster. Right. So now Project Veritas also filed its own lawsuit against her, and in an attempt to discredit her complaint, Project Veritas' statement also pointed to the fact that Schwartz had once worked as a lawyer for Acorn, you know, the group that they had shut down. For no reason. Okay. In fact, the email claims Schwartz is attempting to leverage Zappier's claims to hurt Project Veritas. But there's more. There's more. Complicating the fallout over her firing, Zappier's husband once had threatened a Project Veritas staffer with a gun. Jesus Christ. According to the lawsuit, after the staffer insisted on taking a shower at their home while she named a number of Project Veritas employees as witnesses or perpetrators to incidents mentioned in the lawsuit, the Daily Beast was unable to independently confirm these allegations. In her telling, the unusual activities at Project Veritas were not limited to its office in Mamaroneck, New York. She claims that the group, registered as a tax-exempt 501c3 nonprofit with the IRS, had rented a corporate apartment that became a frat house for drinking, sex, marijuana, and parties, with O'Keefe sometimes appearing there himself.
Sexual anarchy.
Now, they also go on to say that attempts to rein in this culture were quashed, according to the lawsuit, when a female attorney started to document potential human resources violations, including workday drinking, a superior having an inappropriate sexual relationship with a much younger subordinate. Oh, and they want to call the left groomers, by the way. Interesting. O'Keefe allegedly accused that lawyer of spying in on staffers. According to Zappier, O'Keefe warned that the news of the lawyer's inquiry would reach the media. The lawyer was then fired. You know.
Fired!
Gone. O'Keefe replied when confronted with the issues documented by the lawyer, quote, "Human's gonna be human." Oh, well, of course. Well, you know what? That makes it all better. Yeah, everything's fine. Humans are just getting human, you know? Great. Now, the attorney Schwartz had also predicted that the allegations about the inner workings of Project Veritas were only just starting to come out, as if this is not already bad enough, saying the lawsuit could have a snowball effect. Schwartz has also filed a potential class action lawsuit against Project Veritas over wages. Saying, quote, "This was a highly trusted person." So, look, again, this gets me back to what I was saying before. This is somebody who votes for the leopards eating faces, people's faces party, being surprised that a leopard ate her face. I'm not saying that these allegations are not important, right? Or not very significant. I'm just saying that it's not a surprise. That it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone if any of these allegations gets proven true. And we still have to go through that. It still has to go through discovery, which again, this is, part of the lawsuit process. You have to actually get the proof. You have to do discoveries. You have to do depositions. You have to do all of that. That is assuming, of course, Project Veritas doesn't want to settle or won't settle in this case because it is a civil suit. Nonetheless, again, I wouldn't be surprised because this seems to be the culture everywhere. Again, let's go back to Madison Cawthorn for a minute, right?
Tallywhacker.
This is a guy who was successfully drummed out of Congress because he had talked about Republicans, right wingers, having cocaine and sex parties at Washington, D.C. I told you there's something to that. You know, these people who act so incredibly pious at all times, they don't want to talk about morality. Oh, morality. We're the moral ones. You're the immoral ones. No, we're superior because we are more moral. We're good Christians, right? No, these are the same people that very likely are having cocaine sex parties and crapping on boats.
Dumps. Big, massive dumps.
I'm saying I think that it is true because it just definitely seems like these are the kinds of people, because we've seen this before. And I'm not going to be surprised to see, if this is true, James O'Keefe running that kind of operation.